Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you 10 AI features in DaVinci Resolve that are really going to speed up your workflow. Now don't worry, artificial intelligence still can't replace your creativity, but it can help you with a lot of these mundane, repetitive tasks. So let's jump into the first feature. Now this one's pretty cool if you've ever spent a lot of time trying to separate a part of your image because you want to apply a specific color grade, or maybe let's say you wanted to blur the background and leave the foreground unaffected. So Depth Map will essentially analyze your scene so it can figure out what's the foreground, the main subject, let's say, in the background in your shot, so you can apply the different effects just to that part of the image. So here I have a shot from my upcoming shark film, which, by the way, if you haven't seen my last video, I'm gonna show you how I came up with the story for this film. Definitely check it out, and I will be doing more videos about how I shot this film, how I did the post-production and all that stuff. But right now I'm just gonna be using some of the shots as examples in this video. So here under the color panel, I'm gonna go to effects, and I'm gonna look for depth map. And here it is. Now I already have two nodes up here which are for color grading. So I'm gonna create a new node where I'm gonna apply the depth map effect. So just drag and drop it under, and it's gonna take a second, and you see it recognized our two actresses. And then it also knows that there's the sand over there, and as it gets further away, it gets darker because it's basically further away. Whatever is darker means it's further away from the camera. Whatever is lighter is closer. So you can, of course, adjust that. If you want to, for example, target just that sand there or the actresses, or if you had a foreground, you could do that too. In this case, maybe I'll apply like a lens blur effect to kind of make the depth of field kind of seem more exaggerated. So I want to blur the background a bit more without affecting our actresses. So I can go in here and play around with some of these settings, which I'm not going to go into all, too much depth because it would take up too much time. But definitely, if you guys want to see me kind of explain in depth any of these features in this video, then let me know in the comment section below. So there, this looks pretty good, and I like this gradient because that will essentially mean that the lens blur effect will not be applied here to where the sand is. It's going to get sort of gradually applied further, as things get further away. So now I can go and to create another node, and then to that node I'm going to apply the lens blur effect. There it is, drag it. And in order for that effect to only be applied to our depth map, I got to connect the blue here to that blue. And now, as you can see, this is how it's looking. Now, we actually, in this case, applied it to the wrong part of the image. So I can go back to our depth map and I can invert it. And now you'll see the lens blur effect is applied there, actually, in the background. And you can see how quickly that is done. Again, you can refine the edges and play around with all those settings. And another cool thing is that it will track throughout your whole shot. So again, you don't have to rotoscope or track anything in there. So as you can see, as the girls are moving through the scene, it's keeping that basically depth map corresponding to them, and it's applying that effect to that part of the image that I want. Now this essentially is like letting AI do all the rotoscoping for you, so you don't have to sit there and do it frame by frame. If, let's say, you want to cut out your subject and you want to put something behind your subject, or composite on top of something else, or behind something, or let's say apply a certain effect just to that part of the image. So let's jump right here. So here on the color page, I'm going to select my node I'm going to apply the magic mask to, and I'm going to go here, magic mask. You have different options. You have the object mask, and you also have the person mask. Object mask is honestly what I use most of the time, but if you want to get very specific, like let's say with the person mask, you can go to the whole person or features. So for example, I could select, let's say I want to just adjust the hair, for example. So I can track the hair, so I'm going to select the little hair tool, and I'm going to do the plus one, and I'm also going to make sure to turn on the mask. So you can see right away it recognizes the hair. Now, of course, you can track it, so it will do it for the whole shot. So for example, go here, and as you can see, it does a really good job and actually detects which part of the scene is just our actor's hair. I'm actually going to delete this. I'm going to detect the whole person. So again, I'm going to choose the color picker with the plus sign. Just here, select the person. You can see it already recognizes everything. I'm going to track it forward and just show you guys kind of what else you can do with this. So you can see it does a really good job even here, like detecting the hand and knowing that here that's not part of our actress. You can also go to better. Now it is going to take a lot longer depending on how powerful your computer is. but it will then detect all of these details. And there it is, it already did a much better job. As you can see up here, this is very blurred, but it can kind of recognize the fingers. If I go to faster, you'll notice it just kind of does a big blob for the hand. So better definitely is more detailed, especially here on the face. Again, this is faster. You can see it didn't detect those edges as good. And once I'm happy with it, I'm just gonna here create another node. And I'm gonna connect again the blue here to the blue of that node, telling that node that essentially I wanna apply that mask to this one. I'm gonna turn off the mask preview. And now, like I said, again, you can apply any effect to it you want. You can just cut out the person, you can put text behind them, and then you can add an alpha output. So up here, and I'm gonna now connect the blue from our magic mask here to that, meaning we just cut out the girl. Now back here on my edit page, I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna duplicate it. And I'm gonna put it on top of it. Now the bottom one, I'm actually gonna go now and I'm gonna adjust the color grade to that. And in that case, I'm gonna turn off that mask. So now essentially what we have is we have here on the top, we have a version that has just the girl cut out, and the bottom one has the whole scene. So if I, for example, put them like this and then put, let's say, some text in behind them. So let's say go to, I don't know, basic title. And now you can see it looks as if the text was there behind the girl. And I can make it, for example, bigger. And as you can see, you get a pretty cool effect. Of course, you know, if you really want this to look good, you're gonna have better looking font, text, maybe animate the text. But you get the point. Now this one's pretty self-explanatory. You get something in your shot that you don't want to have there, you can use this tool to get rid of it. So here's another shot from my shark film, and you'll notice there's a lot of boats there in the background that obviously I don't want them to have there, because in the story they're supposed to be stuck out in the middle of the ocean with no help around. But it just so happened that where we were filming there was a lot of fishermen out in those waters. So now I'm gonna have to get rid of all those boats. So this is how you do it. So here on the color page, I'm gonna take one of the nodes here that I have. I'm gonna apply a window. I'm gonna actually draw over it. Basically wanna draw over this object that I wanna remove, which is that ship there. Now I'm gonna go also and go here to the tracker, and I'm just gonna track it forward. And just always double check, make sure it's tracking properly. It looks like it is. I'm going to create another node, and again I'll connect here the blue to the blue one. And in effects here, you look for your object removal, apply it to this new node. Let's zoom in here so I can see clearly. Now my object up here is very small, so I'm going to adjust this analysis boundary to be very little, like maybe, I don't know, let's try even 2. I'm also going to select object, and I'm just going to do scene analysis. So now you can see kind of more or less where it's being applied and how it's being distorted. And it looks like it's okay. That's basically the area that is being affected. And now I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And now up here in Clean Plate, I'm going to click Build Clean Plate. And you can see right away it removed there. You can also like blend it. You can do, for example, here adaptive blending, see whether that makes it look better or not for you. You can, for example, increase that. And you know, but I can kind of just scroll through the scene. Now if I look at it here full screen, you can see, yeah, it looks pretty good. So this is before, this is after. Now obviously I gotta go and do that for all the other ships, but again, this is how easily you can now remove objects in your shot. If you're ever working with a shot where maybe the lighting is not the greatest on your subject, or maybe the makeup wasn't done or was done badly, or like in my case, when my shark film, basically we're filming out on the boat the whole day and everybody was tired, it was very hot, people were sweaty. And so this is how my actor looks here in this shot. You can see he's got a lot of spots there. Well, I can use the face refinement now to get rid of some of these problems. So here on the color page, I'm just gonna create first another node, and in effects, I'm gonna look for face refinement, apply the effect here. And we can sort of start playing around with this setting. So I'm just gonna zoom in here so you guys can see better. This is how our actor looks right now. Like I said, a lot of these sort of hot spots there from the sweat. So we can just first go and click the Analyze button. And it's basically gonna track his face. And as you can see, it does a pretty damn good job. It actually tracks all of this, like basically figures out where his nose, eyes, eyebrows are, lips. Now I'm gonna turn off the overlay here so we can just look at his face. So here I can go, for example, to the beauty automatic, and we can just pull it. Let's see if I can move it all the way there. I can turn it on and off, kind of see what it does. As you can see, without it, you can see all the little, like the little wrinkles there and stuff like that. That kind of smooths it out. You can also adjust the scale of it, so to make the effect kind of work better depending on the size of your actor's face. So obviously if I bring this down, because his face is kind of smaller in the shot, you notice it kind of does that, you know, applies that effect a bit better. Now I'll tell you one big tip with face refinement is less is more. You never want to apply any of these basically settings all the way. So here I'm going to drag now the amount kind of to somewhere, maybe let's say do it halfway, and again before, after. Subtle, but it does smooth it. Now for example, I can go here, you have other things like for example smoothing, so I can actually smooth this. You can see there, kind of gets rid of some of those wrinkles further. But in this case I actually don't want to do that. I'm gonna reset all of that stuff. I'm actually gonna go here and see shine removal. I'm gonna apply that, and look what it does. See, it removes some of that shine there that was on his head. We can also, for example, go here to forehead. So as you can see, you have a lot of settings here. You can do eye retouching. If his eyes were open, you can actually brighten up the eyes. Now I could, for example, get rid of the, like let's say eye bags. Now as I apply it, you'll notice that basically what it does is it brightens up the eye bags. So it's kind of just brightening up that area. So you could do that. But yeah, you have a lot of settings here that you can kind of play around with. You have blush retouching, lips retouching, like for example if you wanted to make his lips more, you know, red. I'm not sure if that looks good on him, but let's just leave it up here maybe. Let's actually see how it looks in the shot. So this is again before and after. You can see definitely helped kind of take away some of those harsh highlights there on his face, and it just kind of makes the skin look a bit smoother. And as you can see, because it analyzed the face, it actually will apply it to the whole face as the face is moving and even as it's rotating, because it knows now where the eyes are and the nose, you know, all that stuff. And so it actually follows the features and applies that effect, so you don't have to do it frame by frame. This one is truly amazing when you're working with a shot where the audio is just horrible and you can't hear what the person's saying. We'll just clean it right up for you. So up here in the inspector, go to the audio setting and you just go to voice isolation and you turn it on. Now this is another shot from my film Shark Bait. Like I said, I'm going to be releasing more behind the scenes and tutorials, and also the final film. If you guys want to see that, as always, subscribe and follow me on my website. But yeah, in this shot, we actually did have good audio recorded with like a professional boom mic. But this is the audio that was actually recorded in the camera. So let's say somebody hands you footage like that and just has horrible audio like this.
Ay, no importa, mira. Aquí están Pedro, Luis y Sandra. Hola. Oye, ¿y estás sola? Increíble, mira. Luis nos consiguió un bote o una lancha, algo así. Vamos a ir a la playa a farrear. ¿Quieres venir?
And they want you to edit this and make it sound good. Well, this tool might just save your ass. So here, like I said, it's very simple. And the inspector, under the audio settings, you have voice isolation. We'll just turn it on, and that's pretty much it. Now you can adjust the intensity of it, but this is how it sounds when now it's applied 100%.
Ay, no importa, mira. Aquí están Pedro, Luis y Sandra. Oye, ¿y estás sola? Increíble, mira. Luis nos consiguió un bote o una lancha, algo así. Vamos a ir a la playa a farrear. ¿Quieres venir?
And of course, if that sounds a little bit unnatural, you know, you can take it down a little bit. So let's see if I put it down to like 62 here.
Ay, no importa, mira. Aquí están Pedro, Luis y Sandra. Oye, ¿y estás sola? Increíble, mira. Luis nos consiguió un bote o una lancha, algo así. Vamos a ir a la playa a farrear. ¿Quieres venir?
So as you guys can hear, this thing really is pretty spectacular in being able to isolate the voice of the person in your shot so you can clean up any unwanted background noise. Now this is pretty cool because it will allow you to sort of adjust a little bit the lighting after the fact while you're already editing the shot. So here in DaVinci Resolve, I have this shot. This one is not from my shark film. This is actually from this website I started using recently, which is Raw Film. It's a stock video website. No, they're not sponsoring this video. This video, in fact, is not sponsored by anybody except those of you guys who are buying my filmmaking tutorials or filmmaking LUTs on my website, again at tomantosfilms.com. If you haven't been there, go check it out. But yeah, raw film, I started using them recently, and they just have like really professional stock footage. It's all shot on red. They do actually have a few shots, like drone shots that are shot on, not on red cameras, but otherwise it's all shot on red. All of the footage is raw. It's like 4 to 8K. So you can download the raw clips and you can really fine tune and sort of adjust the color grading on it. And what I also like is that they have, for example, these collections. So like, for example, if you go here, let's say like, for example, here, this guy working out in a gym, you'll notice that they don't just have one shot of him, they have multiple shots, so you can actually edit a whole sequence with it. And they have lots of these sort of collections, like here, a girl on a bike. So again, if you're looking for top-notch quality, beautifully shot and beautifully lit stock footage, then check out raw film. Anyways, getting back here to DaVinci Resolve, I'm gonna go and just look here in the effects tab for relight. And once you find it, you just drag and drop it. And it doesn't seem like much happened here, but if you move it around, you'll notice that it essentially builds sort of like a 3D representation of your scenes. It already recognizes where the people are, you know, kind of more or less the shape of them. And then you can move around this virtual light and you can, you know, essentially relight your scene. So I'm gonna turn off this thing here, and I can now, for example, with this light, I can increase the intensity of that light, and you can see like I can make it look like, for example, there's a light here on this table, right? Now in this shot, I might actually want to here, if you turn off the effect, you'll see that there is a sort of a directional light up here coming in from screen left. So let's say I just want to accentuate that. So I'll go, you know, choose a directional light. I'll pick it sort of simple, something like here. And, you know, I'll just move it in so that it's not creating these really, really noticeable shadows. You can also go in here and you can adjust. You can do like shadow softness. You can play around with all of these things. So for example, in this shot, if I want to just make that directional light be a little bit stronger, then this is how it would look. So again, this is without the effect, and this is with the effect added. And because it's AI, it will again track and follow and figure out how your subjects and objects are moving in the shot. This feature is great for anyone who's working with standard widescreen video, but then also has to do a vertical version for platforms like TikTok or Instagram. So for example, here I have a shot that was shot regular 16:9, or actually a little bit even wider than that. And now I'm gonna reframe it here into a vertical format. So as you can see, the problem is that our actor is kind of going in and out of frame, right? Well, normally you would have to kind of manually go in there and adjust the position and animate that. Well, not anymore. And now in the here transform settings, you have this option called Smart Reframe. And you can choose basically, you know, reference point, or you can just do auto. Most of the time I just click auto and just click reframe. Let it analyze the clip, and that's it. As you can see, you can already watch the shot, and it nicely keeps the actor's face here throughout the whole shot, yet it also looks natural. You really can't make this any simpler than that. So let's say you've shot a lot of footage with a lot of different people. Maybe you've done, I don't know, a wedding video, or like in my case, a film. And you want to be able to group your shots based on who's in it, so that it just makes it easier later on for you to find a specific shot of that person. Well, face recognition is going to make that super easy. So here I got a folder with all kinds of shots. So I'm just going to select all of these and right click here, and I'm going to go analyze clips for people. So I just let it kind of go through and analyze all of the clips. And now it's going to group the faces for you, so you can find it easier. So you can see it right away recognizes these faces. So we can go in here and, for example, we can add a name. So I can put our character's name in this case, because this is for the shots in my film. And now the cool thing is, as you can see, we can go, for example, and based on the actor, we can find all of the shots with that person. Now once you close that, it might seem like nothing happened, but if you look at the actual metadata here and you look at the shot and scene, you'll notice that it adds metadata for each of the people. For example, like in this case, we have the two girls that are in this shot. So we can use this now to create smart bins. So go to here, preferences for DaVinci Resolve, user editing, and then here you go, automatic smart bins for people metadata. Go save. And now here under the smart bins, you'll have a new option for people. You can expand that, and you can see each of the actors' names in this case And when I click on it, it shows me just the clips with those people. So now, for example, when I'm editing, and let's say I want to find a certain shot with Jennifer, I can just click on this folder, and here all of the shots with her will pop up. Whenever you're editing a long shot of somebody talking, you know how hard it is sometimes to find that specific sentence or word that the person says. Well, editing with text makes that actually very easy. So here I have a clip of me talking, doing a desktop review. So I can right click on it and go audio transcription, just go transcribe. Now I'm just gonna let it go through and sort of analyze the whole clip. Now this clip up here is actually very long. It's almost 1 hour long. So it's gonna take around 4 minutes to analyze the whole clip. Just because I had a lot of me repeating the same line, making mistakes. But anyways, let me just jump to the end when it's done analyzing it. So now that it's done, as you can see, I can scroll and I can see all of this text because, again, I did a lot of talking. But I'm gonna go right up here to the top, and I know I did the intro many different times. I had a lot of different mistakes. And it looks like here's the last time that I said it, so that's probably the good take. So I can just highlight this text, and I can create, for example, a sub clip, I can play it, but in this case, I just wanna drop it into my timeline. So there. And then, for example, I have another line, right, that I said. So I can go here, and I'm gonna drop this clip here too. Now here, there's another part where I'm talking about the sponsors. And I'm just gonna select that again, and again, I'm gonna drop it. And as you can see, you can very easily now kind of go through and you can select just the parts that you want, and you can very fast sort of start building your timeline. So that you can, again, edit this very fast. As you can see, a really cool feature that's gonna definitely speed up the workflow if you're editing a lot of these talking head videos. Whenever you get footage from a client and you gotta start editing it, you know that before you can even do that, first you gotta do the painful task of sort of organizing all of your clips so you know what's where and what it's for. Well, again, DaVinci Resolve's AI tool here is gonna really speed that process up. So in this folder here, I've got a whole bunch of different video and audio files, and I can just select all of them, right click up here and go audio classification, go analyze, and now I'm just gonna wait for it to do its thing. Once it's done, you're gonna go here to smart bins, and you'll be able to see under collections all of your sort of clips categorized. So you have audio, video clips, you have dialogue. So for example, we'll show you which clips have some dialogue in it. And they don't have to be necessarily just video clips, they can be also audio clips. You have the same thing for music. You go here, you have all your music tracks, your sound effect tracks, and clips with just silence, which in this case I don't have any. Not only that, but you can go to subcategories and you can even go here. You have, for example, effects, you have boat sounds. So you can go here to nature sounds. They even found wind sounds, clapping, clicking sounds, wood. It found even animal, like for example tiger and some other recording, not even sure what that is. Car sound effects. This will definitely speed up the whole mundane task of having to organize your media before you can actually start the creative process of video editing. Of course, DaVinci Resolve has a lot more than just these 10 AI features. There's, for example, other things like automatic subtitles, super scale, hyperspeed or automatic scene detection. So if you guys want me to do other videos about some of these features and a whole bunch of other really cool stuff that DaVinci Resolve offers, then just let me know in the comment section below. Definitely check out my website at tomantosfilms.com, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my newsletter so you're notified of my future videos. And if you really liked this video and you found it helpful, it would help me a lot if you could hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment below. Thank you guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!